Hey guys, and welcome back to the Crazy Cozy Corner. I'm Brianna, and this is the Crazy Cozy Corner. So, it's everybody's favorite time of the month. No, not that time of the month. It's our TBR tackle time of the month. So, we're just gonna pull a few books this time, like right up front, and I'm gonna kind of like maybe go back and forth between reading them and try to get as many of them done. I think I'm gonna start off with pulling two, and we'll see where we go from there. I haven't made a lot of time for reading physical copies of books, so if I can find them like on their audiobook forums, that'd be great. But we'll see if it's available in Libby. But right here, I have our box. I have not removed any of the books that I have read recently, so if we pull one that I've already read, we'll just not have it in the box anymore. Okay. Perfect example, Emma. I've already read that one. That was the ebook, which was last month. So let's try this again. Oh man, I thought I saw... Let's do it differently. We'll do it this way so I can't see. But I saw the view. Is that the next one? What is the next one? Okay. It was not the house at Saltwater Point. So it was the next one. Okay. So here we go. My handwriting's about... Oh, it's Monstrous Devices. This is one that I got from... book, like it's a fill-a-book, or no, not fill-a-book, fill-a-bag, like for, at the time it was $20 and now it's $30, but you get to put as many books in this bag as you can, and you just pay a flat fee. And like this was one of the books they had like a really big overstock of, and it looked pretty interesting. Once I get the second one, I'll grab both and I'll show you them. Tattooist of Auschwitz. I could tell. I know you probably can't read it. I'm sorry. But I can actually pull the Tattooist right in front of me. So here's a Tattooist of Auschwitz. And let me go grab Monstrous Devices. And I will show you. So here is Monstrous Devices. It seems rather short. Maybe a little over 300 pages. Yeah, like 330 pages. I don't think it's YA. I think it's more like middle grade. Pretty sure based on the age. Yeah, he's 12 years old. So this is more middle grade. So like when I'm reading that, I'm going to have to keep that in mind. But the switching between these two, I think will be a great balance, because this one will be definitely more like serious and more adult. And it's like discussion and everything, and then this one will be probably fantasy, robots, sci-fi type thing. But you know, I don't know if it's anybody else, but sometimes these edges here, like you can see how they're not even. Sometimes that really bothers me. Now if it's an old book, I like it because it's like it shows its wear and that it's been loved. But when it comes like that, I don't know, maybe that's just me. But yeah, these two are the ones we'll try to read, and if we get them both done, we'll pull more. But we're trying to be realistic. Great news, I just checked Libby, and you can see myself here. That's embarrassing. But I just checked Libby, and both Tattooist of Auschwitz and Monstrous Devices for audiobooks are available to loan right now. So this might go in my favor. Okay, I meant to do like midway updates. Ignore my forehead, I was picking at a zit. Anyways, that's out of the way. I meant to do some like midway updates, because like there was some times where I'm like, I need to say something, but then I was driving or going to do something right after I was listening, and so I didn't have time. But I finished Monstrous Devices today, and this was such a good book. I don't know if I was like in the mood for a middle grade book or like what it was, but this one, it didn't like there was moments it felt like, yeah, it's not like young adult fiction, but like I got so I felt wrapped up in the story, and that's like I've had trouble with the last few middle grade books that I've read, or like junior high, but this was like it was a little dark, so like you definitely older kids be reading this. I guess it depends on maturity level and everything like that, but like it didn't get so dark that it was like, oh, this shouldn't be on the shelves or whatever. I mean, like that's me just being super dramatic, but like it was like there was mystery and like, you know, kind of talking about like, maybe it's magic, maybe it's science, maybe, but like I mean, I'm not even making sense, but I really enjoyed this book, so like I'm going to talk about it. And it might not be in coherent sentences, and I'm sorry. But this book, like I got to the end and I didn't know if there was a second one or not. Thankfully, I found out that there's a second one. I don't know how I'm going to get my hands on that. I might have to buy it because I can't get it on Libby because for some reason there's no record of it. But there is a second book. I checked on Goodreads. Actually, just because it's on Goodreads doesn't mean that it's published. I hope that there's a second book. Because this one, when it ended, I was like, that can't be the end. And if this was the only book, I would be so disappointed with the ending. Like, we got no resolution on Alex and his grandpa's like relationship and what they are. Not like, you know, relationship with them, but like what like physically they are. And so like, anyways, we follow this boy named Alex. He's like 12 or 13, and he was a sickly kid, and so he had a fascination with robots. He's all good now, but like, you know, his father died when he was young. It's just his mom, and now his mom's boyfriend, and like his grandpa every once in a while. But so he's like, he loves robots and just thinks they're like collector's items kind of thing. And he's bullied at school, and like we start at the book, like at the beginning of the book, and he receives a robot in the mail from his granddad. And so he looks like it's a cool one, whatever, but he acts like its edges are sharp. And so he cuts himself, and like a little bit of his blood gets in there. And we talk about like kind of, I don't really understand how these little robots work, but anyways, he basically forms a connection, like physical, spiritual, mental, whatever connection with this robot. And so you kind of explore that a little bit, but it's like, then someone's after this robot. So his grandpa whisks him off to Paris, and they are like trying to do all these things, and it was good. We end up in Prague at the very end. But like right now, going into spoilers, like Alex thinks his dad is the tall man, but it's not, and maybe it is. Like his grandpa seems to deny it, but he hasn't actually said his suspicions, but when Harry brings it up, like it's crazy. So like I don't know, like, oh, that was my dogs. I don't know how, like, I should have done like midway updates to like explain, because once I get done with it, like the ride's over, and so I don't really know how to like communicate what happened, because I was just there and now it's over, but I would definitely recommend. It's like a little mystery, sci-fi, but it's kind of like has a fantasy element, really. So it's a good mix of different things, and like there was some pacing issues, but I mean, no book is perfect, and I'm like, it was such a good book to me, and so I rated it 4 stars, and it is definitely staying on my shelf, because like this would be like fun to look at again. I'm hoping I can find the second book. I'm really hoping it's published. If it's not published, I think I might cry, because like the ending, like to carry on into the next book, like I whatever, you know, if it was meant to be more than one book, but if this is the end, I am so like mad and disappointed with the ending, you know. But like if it was originally written to be more than one book, like you can't just give away all the secrets in book one. I mean, you could, but then it's like, why would I come back for the second book? So I understand, but anyways, so that is my read, rant, rave review of Monstrous Devices. I'm listening to Tattooist of Auschwitz. I guess I'm not really in the mood to be really sad. And that's what like the Holocaust really does to me, is it's sad, it's horrific. And so like, but it's important to learn about it, even if it's like in a fictional world. And it's based on a true story, but you know, like it's not exactly what happened. So, but it's like, so we'll see. But that is this one done. So I'll get that one read and hopefully maybe get one more, but we're closing in. I have less than a week to finish Tattooist and another book if I get another one, because this video is supposed to go up in a week. So we'll see. See you next. So real-time update finally, right? I am about 63% of the way through The Tattooist of Auschwitz, and like books and like things, even fictionalized things about the Holocaust, it's horrifying how these people were treated and like what people had to do to survive. It's like I can't even, like, I can stand here and judge people, right? Like what I would do, but honestly I'd be like dead so quickly. I mean, I don't know what I would even like, how I would even start, like, so like I can't even judge, but it's like what people had to do and like give up of themselves to survive. It's like, I don't know. So basically we're following this guy named Lale, and he gets taken under the wing of the first tattooist, or like, you know, the one that he like was mentored under before something happened to him. And so Lale becomes the Tattooist of Auschwitz. Spoilers, as always. There's rarely something spoiler free from my mouth. But Lale meets this girl named Gita. And what's funny is I was listening to the audiobook and I didn't have the book in front of me. So I had to look up. I was like, is the librarian of Auschwitz and the tattooist of Auschwitz they kind of like, do they cross paths? But it was actually Gita, not Dita. And so once I found that out, I was like, okay, cool, makes sense. I mean, there's so many people. That's my Pop-Tarts. But there was so many people in the camps, right, that like it's possible that all of them had like come across each other and didn't realize it, or like never met. And so like that's my little side tangent on that. But like he meets Gita and falls in love with her. She falls in love with him, you know, kind of trauma bonding, because what can you really do in that kind of situation? Finding hope and love like kind of brings something. I don't know. But right now he has just been beaten because they found all the jewels and everything he was hiding, because he was trying to make other people's lives easier, and it worked for a while. Unfortunately, like he got caught, and so like now I don't think he's he's not protected anymore. So he's in block 31. Moved from block, yeah. So it's I can't imagine putting myself, one, in anybody's shoes that were like in Auschwitz or in the concentration camps, but I can't imagine myself being put into the shoes of the Nazis. And I'm not gonna say the German people, because like I'm sure there was plenty of people that were like that didn't agree with it, but they had no choice at that point because the minority was ruling the majority. But like I can't imagine being like an officer and not like, I'd have to, like, I don't think there's anything that I believe in so much that I would kill someone for, like, it's so sad because, like, honestly, there's people still like that just hate someone because of something that they didn't choose, or, like, even if they did choose what religion they are, like, there's just so much hatred. And so it's like, I reflect on that, but then I reflect on now, and it's very sad, and we definitely need to learn from the past, and hopefully that it won't reoccur. But like, the book is good. Like, it's heart-wrenching. Like, I mean, this person had what you would call, like, a cushy, like, as if any cushy life was ever there, but, like, compared to the other people who didn't have connections, or, like, couldn't speak a lot of languages, is like, it's so sad. I don't know, like, what philosophical thing that I'm trying to, like, communicate, but it's a good book. And sorry, you just saw my hand in the frame, but, like, it's a good book. I would definitely recommend reading it. It's just not, it's not fluffy. Like, so, I mean, if you're not looking for fluffy, then you're good. But yeah. I finished The Tattooist of Auschwitz. I liked this book, but, like, a new appreciation. How do I get this to not, there we go, less shadow. But after reading, like, the author's note and the afterword and everything with this, sorry, thought I heard something. But after reading that, it just brought a whole new level to this book. Like, knowing, like, you look at it and it says it's based on a powerful true story, and it just didn't hit that it was an actual true story until reading the author's note, and how Lale, like, sought out, I'm pretty sure, Heather, to, at least in the audiobook, I don't actually have it in the physical copy, but sought her out to write this book. And I think that's crazy. And, like, then thinking about how many people, everybody that was in the camps, like, thinking about how many of those poor people, because, like, no one deserves to be really treated like that. Like, no, I don't know. But just thinking about how many of them, like, what they did to survive, and how they felt guilty for the things they had to do to survive, and how they couldn't really tell their own stories without fear of being seen as a collaborator or someone that let it happen. And I mean, like, there's times when you can stand up, but there's also times where, like, you have to like have power, or, like, you know, find, like, work with others. Like, a single person is super powerful, yes, but, like, when you're up against something like that, you can't just, I don't know. It's sad. And I just saw that Silka has her own book, and I don't know if I'm brave enough to read that one just yet. But there's a happy ending. I mean, they die in the end, but of old age, which is good, you know, after being what they went, like, after going through what they went through, like being able to live a happy life and die of old age, I think is pretty amazing. Like, their son that, like, wrote the afterword, like, wow. It's like, even after what they went through, they could still, like, they still functioned and learned, you know, how to be back in the world, which I was like, I don't know if I could ever do that. But I think last we left off, Lale had just been put back. Well, actually, I didn't know if he was going to be back, but he went back to being the tattooist of Auschwitz. And I can't say what they called him because I would butcher it. even though I listened to the audiobook. But he gets back into the routine, but then, you know, there's hush-hush talks or like rumors going on that the Russians are advancing. The SS looks kind of scared, and so like Gita and Lale, they get separated. Gita escapes while they were trying to move the women to a new camp, and Lale escapes from the new camp that he gets sent to, and then is taken in by Russians. And it's like, were they any better? Like, threatening people to, like, get them to work for you? Like, I don't know. That was just, like, really? Like, I guess no one's, like, all good. Like, but it's like, come on. But I guess they didn't, like, and how can people not know about Auschwitz? Like, you have to think about how, like, in these concentration camps, they don't know what's going on because, like, the Nazis were so good at putting up this front. And it's crazy that it went on for so long that I don't know. It's not amazing, but it's like, what happens when we're so uninformed? And like now we have all the media, so it's kind of harder to hide things like that. But like, it's just something like that. It's like, how could no one know that existed except for like the people that were being like, that had to endure it, and then the people that were like the ones perpetrating the injustice, right? It's crazy to me. But Lale escapes the Russians and makes it back home, and then he goes searching for Gita, and Gita had registered with the Red Cross, so he was going to find her, like see if she had registered or list her as missing at the Red Cross. But then, like before he even gets there, she's out on the sidewalk and they see each other, and then they're like, "Oh, it's you!" And so then they lived, you know, I'm sure they had their hard times, but then they lived happily ever after. Like, it wasn't all easy, but I mean, after what they went through, I think they could take on the challenges pretty well. It's like, and I'm inconvenienced by like a stub toe, and then I'm like, I'm just so grateful for where I'm at now. And I don't know, it's such an ugly part of history and humanity, right? And it just makes you like really think. And it's like, there's still people that have a lot of hatred in their hearts, but then it's like, you could see the good side of humanity, right? Like, because there are people who don't have that hatred and just like want to love others well. And it's easy to get stuck on the like bad, but there are good parts, like the kindness that Lale chose to show as many people as he could. And eventually it got him in trouble, right? And then the kindness that Silke showed Lale at the risk of her own life, you know, she'd never asked the guard or the soldier that was abusing her, she didn't ever ask her anything. And so like that was a step of faith, really. And just in this story. But then like if you think of natural disasters, how that usually, like, it's a terrible thing to happen, but a lot of times before, don't even get me started on like the stocking up, but the after, like when the destruction has come and gone, and like people go to like everybody's aid and share what they have, and like it's not all bad, and it's just important to remember that, even though what happened in the Holocaust was heinous and evil straight up. Yeah, but it makes you like it makes my brain like curious how, like, it's Germany must have been like a frog in boiling water, like it getting slowly the heat turned up, right? like with like Hitler and what he decided to do, because like I hear that he was very, I mean I wasn't there, but I like hear that he was very charismatic, so you wanted to or people wanted to follow him and believe in him, and so it's like you couldn't, I don't, like you would get tossed aside really quick, I think, if you just went in like, okay, we hate these people and they gotta die. And so like you can see it with like the Star of David that they made them wear, and then moving them, and like, or not even moving them yet, taking away their ability to work or serve other people, and then like just slowly taking away rights and stuff like that, because then that's how they got others to see them as not human. It's just it's crazy. But yeah, I finished The Tattooist of Auschwitz. And so what I'm going to read next is The View from Rain Shadow Bay. I didn't pull it from the TBR box, but I do have it on Libby, so I was going to listen to that one really quick. I don't think it's the best choice after this, because it's a lot fluffier for sure, but I feel like I need to read like something like Dating and Dragons or something, just to, you know, cleanse the palate and make me all fluffy again. But I mean, we'll see. It'll be nice to get through that book and, you know, put it with its sister book to be rehomed, which I'm trying to find cute little free libraries around me. And I have had no luck so far, but I will find one, and I will give the books that deserve a second chance at life to that. Although I do have one that I'm unhauling that doesn't deserve a second chance, but you know, maybe someone will like it, or, you know, make art out of it, like rip the pages out, make art. I'm not usually one for harming a book if you can avoid it, but I digress. So I'm reading The View from Rain Shadow Bay, and the sheriff is so incompetent. Like, I don't even remember if it's the same sheriff from the next book, but like, I wouldn't be surprised if he's somehow involved. Although, like, if he was involved, the guy that was going after Shauna wouldn't be like looking for all the evidence, because he would know. So he's just incompetent. Like, when police don't like have an open mind, because there's so many ways an investigation can go. I mean, I guess they're trying to narrow it down, but like the Shauna and Zach, but it's like, no wonder so many people get away with things. It's just, it irks me. And so that's how I'm feeling so far. Honestly, like, grief does weird things. So Shauna lost her husband and has blamed Zach, and so has Shauna's mother-in-law. And it's like, grief does weird things, but it's like, if it was an accident, dudes hype each other up or like egg each other on all the time. Like, just because this one instance ended up with something bad, like, it doesn't mean that it's anybody's fault, because they were adults. And just because you're being egged on doesn't mean you have to be egged on. Anyways, so, but then like finding out, anyways, it's just like, really? Oh, really? That's how I'm feeling right now. I don't know. Ellie was mentioned, and she's the main character in the second book. I'm confused. That's all. So the book has been finished. And yes, I am in the same exact place as I was in the last time I updated you. So, I don't even remember where I was the last time I told you. But basically, again, always spoilers. Shauna and Zach, they fall in love after she gets over her hatred and, you know, misplaced feelings, right? Like, of course she's going to be grieving her husband, because it's different when your spouse dies than when you get a divorce, right? I mean, you might still love them when you divorce, but like, it's different when there was, anyways. So, oh, don't fall off the couch. She's gonna fall off the couch. Oh well. I'll catch her, maybe. Yeah, they decide that they're gonna fall in love, and then, oh gosh, what's his name? Alex, her son, Shauna's son, gets kidnapped along with her mother-in-law, Marilyn, from her first husband, and they're trying to get the deed and this key and these papers that show like the depth and stuff to start earthquakes, because that's what the bad guys are getting, because there's two. Usually it's in partnerships, right? But they, kill Shauna's dad, and it gets wrapped up in a nice little bow, and it leads into going and finding Connor, which is her brother that disappeared after an earthquake that her dad started on accident. But that was one of the reasons he was kind of a useless father, was he was just racked with guilt for, his affair and like accidentally killing his wife, and then, just all the things. But there's really no excuses. Like, you can give reasons and stuff, but there's no excuse to not get over yourself and take care of your family or try to find a way. And I guess, like, he knew he wasn't capable of watching out for the other two kids, and so he lets them go. But it's like, I don't know. It's just really sad. Yeah. And I don't know if there's a third one, because I'd really like to see if, like, Brenna comes back into the picture at all. That's where it was left off in the second one. But yeah, it was a good time. I would probably never reread it again, so it's gonna go off to a home that's gonna love it. But I did it, and I'm kind of curious to see how many books I still have on my physical TBR. Is it still a lot? Yes. But it's less, at least by one. So that's it for our TBR tackle. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, share, comment, ring the notification bell. If you got to this point, comment chicken nuggets, and I'll know you're a real one. Thank you so much. Bye.